Alright guys, if you just came here from the camera placement video, the first one, then you already know that we're about to be talking about effects. Effects, very basic. This right here is nothing crazy. In fact, I want people to start using these settings exactly because your scenes will look a lot better. Now, this can only be used at certain times in certain areas. If it's nighttime, go ahead and do this. Now, obviously, there's other effects that you can do. Now, say you really want it bright like this look crazy. But if I lower the filter down, the intensity, and then I change up some things, you can generally make this look pretty nice. And then a lot of brightness. Like if you really want to do this, like this is not really nice in all honesty. This probably look better in daytime, but certain areas actually look really nice if you look at it. Like I got a free cam. This right here looks really nice. It's shining off. Look amazing, right? The city don't look too bad. Honestly, yeah. Actually, these settings are pretty nice. Now everybody is fucking glowing because that's how Divinity works. Everybody will be glowing. Each filter in Rockstar Editor has its own little effect to it. Some of it will actually change the screen up dramatically, like it look like you're drunk. Then other ones will do other things. So for this one right here, because the contrast is up so much, let me go to it right now. Because this is up so much, it makes it where the black, no, not black, the darkness is darker while the brightness is brighter. So if I turn it down, now everything is, more grayish. There is no more, dramatic. And if you continue going into this, everything is whitewashed. This is completely whitewashed. You don't want to go into negatives for this because it makes everything look really weird. But obviously, going back up to here, yeah, I think it was 89. Makes it look really crazy. It looks really nice. Now saturation, in case you didn't know, this is what makes the colors actually pop. Now contrast makes it where how bright it is, like contrast and saturation work pretty well. You don't want max saturation because then say a color is a little bit greenish or a little bit yellowish, it makes it where it looks like it's piss yellow. Like for instance, I'll go over here. This lighting right here is not supposed to be this yellow. It's really not. But then also, the more saturation you have, it makes everything, like, it don't look too bad, but if you're looking at skin or you're looking at other things, like, this guy looks like, he looks ill. He looks really ill. And also, everything starts pixelating because of how bright everything is. You can't see my character because he's just that dark, but still, the gold doesn't look too bad, like, if this is what you like to see, by all means go ahead, do that. But in all honesty, you should find a balance with it. In all honesty, your saturation shouldn't go over 15. If you're really pushing it in some filters, it could go up to 20, but in all honesty, stay to 15 and below. So for this, I'll have it as 8. Contrast is this, and then brightness is obviously so that you can actually see everything. The lower the brightness, the darker everything is. This looks cool to some people, but I want you to understand, don't have a scene where it's just super dark like this unless this is the point of the scene, to look really dark, ominous, you don't know what's going on. Ooh. If that's what you're trying to have, do that. But if you're trying to have it where, the audience can see what's going on, then you don't need this darkness. Because let's be honest, bro, like if you didn't see the light right here and I put it like right here, you could, like, if the light wasn't there, you could barely see anything. There's nothing here. You can't make out anything on this car unless you zoom in real deep. Can't do anything. And then when you're looking down this alley, it's like, it's so dark, it's so dim. Like, unless you're trying to make something where it's supposed to be like the unknown and you don't know what's going on, then do that. That's a storytelling feature, but that's getting into another realm that's far more complex than just simply filters and effects. Now lastly, there is another effect in case you didn't notice, and that's vintage. Let me brighten this up so you actually see things. What was it, 38? Now vintage, you can already see it right now. It's really just like the edge of the screen getting darker, and then when you take it away, it's supposed to change it up. Some filters, like say night moves, will have like a little bit of vintage built in. All it really does in this game is just makes it where the edge of the screen is darker. So the more you do this, the darker the edge of the screen, and then the further out everything gets, and everything gets a lot more dimmer. So in all honesty, kind of just treat it like brightness, but it's a different version of brightness. In all honesty, it's not really useful in most scenario. If anything, you're gonna be going into the negatives for this, because you need to, you feel me, like say a filter that you have is too dark, but you don't want the brightness to be too loud, too crazy, or the saturation to be too crazy, or the contrast to be too crazy. So you can turn down the vintage to help you with that. But then obviously you can do the intensify. Now there's also another thing where you can do, where you can press L3, it will copy the effects, and then when you get into your next scene, or you're making cuts and you want to change out the effects to another effect, but then switch back to this effect, then you'll be able to actually just keep the effect easier, and you just have to paste effects. You just press X to paste, and then that's it. So if I was to press triangle right now, resets everything. Press X, I have to filter back. Well, this is a different filter, but I have a filter back. So make sure you have everything set up for that, and you'll be fine. With that being said, I'll check to y'all later.